This shouldn't be too long.
I'm going to go sit in the timeout chair.
All right, timeout chair, Justin. See you later. We're starting wrestling show. All right. There's people over there, but that's fine. You ready, sir?
Sure.
And go.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Calf Podcast. This is the wrestling show for September 30th. Thanks for listening. If you found us on the interwebs, Google us at the Calf Podcast. We'll show up in your podcast catcher. We'll show up in your social media. We'll show up smiling at your house, in your windows, just smiling.
How's these cookies? Because you're eating them live on YouTube. Good.
Oh, good. Cookies Johnson over here in the corner.
He's doing it again.
Sit in the timeout chair.
Sit in the timeout chair and enjoy yourself.
Can I see him in the timeout chair?
No, he's not on camera when he's in the timeout chair, unfortunately. It's just our big faces. Just smile at the camera the entire time. You're not. Okay. It's hard to do, isn't it?
It is. It is hard to hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right. So it's wrestling news time.
Yes.
You're on YouTube if you come into the screen here, but you can come say hi to the people that aren't watching.
Oh, hell no.
What do you got for me there? Oh,
They can see you.
tomorrow, 11:30. Gotcha. Thank you. All right. You want to start in AEWs or WWE?
Doesn't matter.
What did we do last week, Brock? We did WWE last week, right? You want to start in AEW then?
Sure.
Might as well. All right. So a little bit of news before we get in AEW. Have any of you guys seen this recent Malachi update? He was on Twitch, or was he Twitch or Instagram Live, something like that.
Something where he was talking in his car.
Yeah.
Because that's where breaking news comes from.
From your car.
Yes.
And he was basically shooting down all these rumors that, like, his contract's not 5 years. Even though Tony Khan said at a thing, Malachi's for another 5 years or whatever. But he's like, it's not, and I'm not leaving. I didn't quit. I didn't do this. I don't even know why he bothered addressing this. You know?
I don't know.
Did you have to? You know, all you're doing is, like, stirring up more drama with these people. Does anybody really believe all the wrestling dirt sheet stuff? You know,
Unfortunately, they do.
Yeah.
There's been dirt sheet stuff for a long time. I mean, I don't know why he gave any legit to these people. I don't know. It seems like the guy's going through some stuff.
He is, but also too, I think he's also on the. I've seen somewhere, and I don't, like I said, like we talked about, you believe what you want on the internet, but there's people that because he trains with Punk, that he's on the Punk side of the whole Young Bucks Punk
situation. War.
Yeah,
the ongoing war.
So that's why another reason why people think that he's probably not long for AEW is because.
Talking about long-term booking, Vince McMahon said CM Punk's packing 7 years ago to destroy AEW.
Yeah.
And then Buddy Matthews is another one that might be asking for his release, and he needs time off. And the House of Black, poor Julia Hart. I mean, they're down.
Well, it's funny
she could have been killed on Friday.
Oh my God.
Oh, we'll get to that. Jesus Christ.
Brody King's like sent out to. He's like, I didn't ask to go anywhere. And it's like good for Brody King.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody else wants him.
I think Brody King's good. He's a big, intimidating person.
I think he's fine, but I don't think he has the. Obviously, Buddy and Malachi are Triple H guys that they know there's a place for them now.
Yeah,
you know? It's a little different for some people that other people don't have. But I don't like the whole thing of like you signed with AEW and now you're like, well, the grass is green over here. I want to go leave. Like you signed with that company.
Yeah.
Like. I'm sorry that you got released and like whatever happened, but like you gotta fulfill your contract or do whatever. I don't respect that. You know,
I think these guys that are just keep hopping ship because they want to,
they think they're bigger than they actually are.
Oh, it's gonna be better for me. I'll go back there now. It might not be.
You almost got to wrap like, and we don't know what they're thinking, but you hear all the reports about El Idolo and you hear about Miro, like
that they're unhappy.
They're unhappy. Well,
Elio was tweeting during Dynamite last night.
Yeah,
he said 30 seconds because he was on for 30 seconds and he just typed 30 seconds and like his thing was only 30 seconds he was on TV.
Well, then maybe instead of tweeting it, you should talk to the people in charge.
I don't know. I don't understand Miro either. A lot of people were like, Miro, you never have a match. And he's like, that's because no one wants to fight me. But he's never on. I don't understand Miro booking at all. I don't know where the disconnect is.
That guy's already a star.
And he's not doing anything else. He's on Twitch, but like he's around.
Yeah,
and he's always gets huge pops, so they're hearing it. So
how's he not like your top star by
now? I don't know.
Where's the disconnect there? Because that seems like a no-brainer. A guy that people want to cheer for.
Yeah.
Whatever gimmick you're going to give him is going to work because he's good.
Yeah.
And Where is he?
Is he a head case to work with, or they just don't get it? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
He's one of those odd AEW signings that you never see.
I'd almost, if I was Tony Khan, I'd almost think of a way that I could have a stereotypical, like, oh, you want your release, you're tweeting. Because I wouldn't want any of that negativity now in the locker room, no matter what.
Especially right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're tweeting 30 seconds or whatever, like, well, guess what?
You're fired.
Yeah. Like, if you want your release, I would do, like, all right, for every
year, no compete.
Well, I was going to say, you have 6 months for every year left on your contract. It's no compete.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
you would get worse than that in a pro sports franchise. You'd be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do some kind of like X amount of months for every year left on your contract. Like if you don't want to be here, but you ain't going over there.
Yeah.
And,
and Vince can be back by then.
Yeah.
I understand a little bit more Aleister Black or Malachi. He was a big deal in NXT.
Yeah.
I don't really know what Buddy Matthews thinks. You weren't like Vince pushed you a little bit, but is he really 100? Like, if he comes to Raw or SmackDown, is this a game changer that's coming back? It's just Buddy Murphy.
Like, do you think anyone that comes back challenges Roman and beats him for the that's kind of what the ultimate goal is?
Now, Aleister, I could see coming back and being a top guy because Triple H had a lot of faith in him. Mm-hmm. When he was on NXT, he was a big deal as NXT champion. He really wanted him to be over in the main roster. Vince didn't get it. Mm-hmm. Vince didn't like the tattoos. He didn't like the accent. It just didn't work out. I could see Triple H being like, if anybody I could see Triple H wanting back would be Aleister Black and FTR because he loved FTR. Mm-hmm. And he wanted more.
And maybe Andrade to an extent too.
Maybe. But I can't see him sitting there salivating going, Raw's missing Buddy Murphy. Like that's our guy we're missing, Yeah. Like
he would use him better, I think, but where do you put him?
See, I think Murphy or Matthews, whatever he is, with Aleister in the House of Black out of the way, I think maybe he could shine on that show.
Yeah, because he was always like the third guy.
Yeah, he's like the third guy.
I want to watch him and Pac go for that belt. Like, I want to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he would do okay. Case in point, last night we watched, I love Ricky Starks. Mm-hmm. Last night Ricky Starks on the show and fought some fucking schmuck in 30 seconds to beat him. I would much
Eli Isom.
I would much rather see on Dynamite Ricky Starks fight Buddy Matthews and let those two go for 25 minutes than the shit that I saw last night. You know what I mean? That's what you want to watch. Like, I think he would shine on his own without the House of Black around him.
There has to be a happy medium between WWE's long drawn out 5-segment show and AEW's rapid fire 40 segment show.
Yeah.
There's got to be somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Where we can meet.
And that's Impact.
Yeah. Nobody can see it.
No one can watch it.
Yeah,
no one can watch it. Well, they got Bobby Fish now. Fucking Bobby Fish, man. He's everywhere right now.
He's burned bridges at both companies now.
He's like
an Impact. And he just did a shoot interview on Punk where he's bitching on some. You know what he's doing now? If we asked Bobby Fish to come on this show, I bet you he would.
Oh yeah,
let's do it.
No, any podcast that asks him to be on, he's on. He's in his car at like Kmart, and he's yelling at some guy about CM Punk's a bitch. I'd kick his ass in real life, and I'm like, God, Bobby Fish, man, what is happening? And Hunter wants nothing to do with this.
No. Do you think any of the reports have any ounce of truth that he was trying to get all the guys back?
Who knows? It could be. It couldn't be. I mean, think about it logistically like this. From a business standpoint, obviously, I don't believe that Triple H is calling people breaking contract rules. Yeah. He's too smart to do that.
Yes.
And
there's ways to do it.
In a friend group like we have in a basis like that, like we're the undisputed era. And I leave. You don't think I'm texting you guys going, you guys should try and get out too. Like, come, we'll do something somewhere else. And they're like, Bobby, I just had neck surgery. Tony Khan's paying for it. I'm not going there. Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Cole's like, I'm not leaving my fiance.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Even though she's banging Christian Cage.
Well, whatever. Yeah. But, I just don't think a lot of that, what they said is true,
And I like that Bobby Fish did say, it's like, it's for all of a sudden, I don't understand how contracts work.
Yeah.
Like, that was his defense to it.
But I went back and watched him versus CM Punk. Now that you know what happened and you go watch that, it's terrible. Like, he doesn't want to sell for any of those.
He kicked out of his finisher.
Kicked out of his finisher. Like, he was really annoyed in that match.
He gave him nothing.
Do you see where he's at that? indie show, and he was throwing all the pizza.
Oh my
away.
God, I saw that and it was crazy. He was at a Beyond Wrestling show and he called all the people there that sat on their fat hands don't deserve pizza because no one was cheering.
They had like free pizza for everybody, and he went and got all the pizzas thrown in the parking lot. And he was like, "No one deserves pizza." And then he was yelling at everybody, and they were like, "Bobby Fish was like full hill on the indie."
But he was trying to be like, he's like all those guys in the back. He was saying the right things, but taking away everyone's pizza.
And he was throwing the pizza away. It was pretty funny.
It's work.
Which makes me think that's why they did pizza on Dynamite.
And Primo Luigi.
You put it together with that. So crazy stuff going on. The next thing I saw is, did you realize that the AEW ranking system is basically gone?
Yeah, they kind of haven't said
the last time they updated it was the middle of August.
Okay.
And
it was dumb anyway.
And they kind of haven't updated on their. If you go on their page, CM Punk's like the #1 contender.
Oh, really?
Like, so it's gone. I don't think they're using it anymore, which I think is a great idea to get us far away from the ranking system. It was too hard to track and too hard to maintain.
It was fine at the beginning when you didn't have a ton of WWE talent.
And you're bringing New Japan talent in every week and Impact talent and everybody else.
Yeah, especially if Juice Robinson come in, fight a match, maybe with like. I like those invitational matches.
You do, I don't, but yeah, you do. Yeah.
Well, it gives a reason that for someone to show up and like, oh, you got a title match. Like, at least there's a chance they can win that match.
They never do.
They never do. I think the only time that ever happened was the Asian lady when
Thunder Rosa
went over to Japan and lost in Shimmer, and then she came back. And
on stuff that we didn't see.
Yeah.
You had to watch some rare YouTube video to find why this story. Because Excalibur explained it real fast. It said real fast when it was going last week. And you're like, oh, I didn't hear anything you fucking said. And you called last night. He must have called 3 different people by the wrong name, said the wrong stuff because he's talking too goddamn fast. So let's go back to Rampage last week because
we're still talking about WWE, are we? Or are we just
we're in AEW.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we'll start with Rampage. They had that Sting taking bumps again in his age and all that crazy shit he was doing. And then they brought the Great Buddha out. And
I had a theory about the Great Muta. I would like to see the Great Muta spit in the eyes of everyone that took Aleister Black's spit and heal them.
And heal them. Well, Aleister Black's gone now, so or Malachi or whatever. But I don't know. I would have broadcast that the Great Muta is going to be on your show.
I love the Great Muta. Like, I remember him from like World Class Wrestling days. He was always my favorite. And if I would have known, I would actually.
What about the Great Kabuki?
That's what I don't understand.
It was his father.
I think so.
How are they related? But the Great Kabuki wasn't even Japanese.
No, it wasn't. It's Chief J Strongbow. Italian from New Jersey.
It's a great point that why wouldn't you advertise this?
Yeah.
People like
especially
that.
on a taped show.
On a taped show, exactly. Why wouldn't you be like, the Great Muta debut will be at you don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to be at, Rampage at Arthur Ashe or whatever. I don't know why you wouldn't advertise that.
Yeah.
They wasted it on 10 o'clock at night at like 10:15.
That should have been on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Look at all the crap that was on that episode of Dynamite.
There was a lot of crap. And there was a lot of crap on this too. But that was weird. What did you think of Action Bronson's debut?
Wait, we skipped over Julia Hart in that match.
Tell us what happened.
There's going to be Buddy Murphy got the mist and bumped Julia Hart off the apron. She almost completely overshot the table, hit it with her ass, and then broke out just a piece where her ass hit.
Her head went right out.
Very narrowly missed hitting her head off the guardrail.
Did you see that table placement? How bad it was too.
Like, yeah, even if she would have hit it, she probably would have guided her right into the.
It's so stupid. Like Cornette was explaining, the table should have been long ways.
Yeah,
like they should have the table long ways. That way, she lands in it, her head's safe, and then her butt sinks down, and she's safe. He's like, these fucking idiots have it this way that there's no way good to go through that table when you're this little tiny. And they almost killed her.
She could have died.
She had to tweet out that she was fine, she's okay, but my God,
she an inch or two further would have been completely dead.
Only a matter of time with whoever's in charge of that kind of shit.
And that's what not to keep saying repeating what Jim Cornette says. But
sometimes he makes a point that's on there.
This is why you need experienced producers that have done TV, that have put together matches like this in spots, not just you're my friend, so I'm going to give you this job.
Yeah, because it's so true that just a simple little thing like that, knowing that, like, hey, she's taking a bump, turn that table this way. You want to keep her safe. Yeah. She's going to go in that railing. Like, I don't want to do that.
She
That's
maybe
crazy.
Weighs 120 pounds. She's not. There's no guarantee she's going to break the table.
I was surprised her butt just broke that weird corner.
Yeah, I've never seen a table break that way before.
Well, that table just was like nothing, just like her ass going through it or whatever, just completely destroyed it. It was really weird. Really crazy stuff. But yeah, that was that spot was scary. That whole match was pointless.
And they never showed her again.
No.
So that's why I thought she was dead.
But Sting's another one. All the shit that he takes. This guy's gonna cripple himself too. I don't understand why Sting has to wrestle so many times and what he's doing. You know, I don't know.
He didn't want the ambassador role at WWE. He wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. But so that was that. Then Action Bronson wrestled. And
did he?
Well, he had a clause and said, I'm not taking a bump. Well, I would have been like, then you're not wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
He had a clause in his contract. He said, I don't want to take any wrestling bumps. So he got in the ring and all he did was run around and bump people. Like, I'm all for celebrity guest appearances. After you've watched what like Logan Paul has done, Bad Bunny, these different people,
even Johnny Knoxville,
yeah. You're doing it on AEW for the first time. Shaq did something, but it wasn't. And you go, I'm not going to take any bumps.
He took a table spot. He ended up getting carried out.
Yeah, he did. And all he did was just run and shoulder block people, and he did one suplex. It was fucking lame. And he said, I'm not taking any bumps. I'm not getting hurt. I'm not doing any of that. Then don't do it.
Yeah, then you're making a mockery of what we do then.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have knocked him on his ass if I was one of those guys.
If I was one of I would have been like, well, I'm going to fucking kick him right in the head. I don't care. You know?
He's going to fall down. He's going to take a bump one way or the other.
Yeah, you're getting one way or the other because you're allowed to run and hit me and knock me down, but you're not touching the mat once.
Yeah.
Out of here.
This is our world, buddy. Yeah. I'd knock him on his ass.
And I don't give a shit about Hook anymore.
Yeah, they ruined him.
I don't know what Hook's supposed to be. He has never wrestled anybody, and you've never got to see him be in a match. This match, they got a little offense on him. He just squashes people.
They had something there.
They had a spark in the pan, and they've done nothing with it. Mm-hmm. He just kind of
they dragged their feet for too long on some guys.
He's one of them.
Yeah. He's one of them. It's just boring. It's just boring. Eddie Kingston and Sammy was okay. I don't know if you watched any of these.
I didn't watch any of them.
On there, it was all right. And then, what'd you think of the Golden Ticket Battle Royal?
Why is Hangman getting like?
Who the fuck knows? Hangman again,
who may have caused all the
exactly.
Complete divide. Well, he didn't maybe cause. He completely caused. The giant rift in the locker room that now you have a civil war going on backstage. Your EVPs are suspended.
Yeah, your buddies aren't there because of like stuff you started back in June or whatever.
Yeah. Let's give him a title shot.
And why do you have to have this? You just have a casino battle royal with a person that won the chip, and this guy gets a golden ticket. So you have a chip and a golden ticket, but the golden ticket can only be for one day. It's not needed. Like, this isn't needed at all.
No, at least it wasn't another tournament.
Oh, God. It's just so annoying. And, like, I don't know. It was really
It's
stupid.
because they don't have any storylines.
It was exactly. It was really stupid. So then you go into Dynamite. The past 2 weeks, they've had shows that have really interested me. Mm-hmm. With stuff going on, sparked my interest. I've been looking forward to it. The ratings have been up. And then they opened this show with fucking Chris Jericho boring the shit out of everybody. And it went their ratings from to right down from the beginning of the show. Why is this the opening of?
Because Jericho said it could be.
Jericho was at least 45 minutes of this whole show.
Yeah.
Was Jericho.
Between the beginning and the end.
I don't care about him and Daniel Garcia or any of this stuff anymore. No. I don't care about any of this stuff. I hate the Jericho appreciation nonsense. I hate that he's this big.
Well, let's not forget he has another nickname now.
He's the Ocho now. Yeah. He's the Ocho. He's obsessed with giving himself nicknames.
He's going out and buying all these trademarks because he thinks he's going to make all this money off of it.
And AEW fans that go to that show are fucking idiots. They sing his song and cheer the shit out of him, and then they start booing him. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Like, stop playing that stupid song if you're a villain, if you really want to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
They do sing along, and he's like loving it and cheering it, then he's a villain. It's so dumb. This was like the first half hour of the show.
That sums up the AEW crowd right now as it is. It's like, oh, MJF, he's a heel, but we love him. It's just whatever.
And then they boo him after.
Yeah.
They don't know if they want to boo him or they cheer his entrance and then they boo him when he's in the ring. And he has to like really shit on them in order for them to do that.
The only true like face like crowd pops they have is if you're from that town.
Yeah.
Or they claimed.
Moxley. Moxley's over every town they go into. People like Moxley.
And the acclaim.
And he's at least general to his character that he's a good guy but
Yeah.
he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
And at least it's weird to anymore that Moxley's the only thing on this show that you're like, is it like, okay, like at least Moxley's out, Thank God he's their champion, because anybody else it would be lame on at this point. I did not know that MJF's new feud was going to be Wheeler Yuta. I didn't see that one coming. I don't know why. I don't know. Here's another thing with him. MJF's been hot lately doing all these podcasts. He did 4 or 5 Barstool ones. He's done a lot of other ones. People want to tune in to see him, and they tune in and he's feuding with Wheeler Yuta.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think because if you're drawing out all these title shots and this bullshit, like he needs someone to fight, because you can't have him and Moxley being the.
He needs somebody that's a little bit equal to him on the microphone, though. That's the whole thing with an MJF feud. It's like
Wheeler Yuta tried.
He tried, and it was horrible. Like Moxley just goes like does things to him, gets him back. Wheeler Yuta.
Who on that roster is equal to him on the mic is a good guy?
Ricky Starks.
That's a huge jump for Ricky Starks. The way he just lost to Powerhouse Hobbs in that feud, essentially, because the lights out match doesn't count towards your record. You can't have him all of a sudden hop up and start.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think they have anybody.
They don't. Like,
maybe Claudio.
I don't know where's he been. Like,
I mean, he lost to Jericho. Now he's just a jobber.
Yeah.
They buried him pretty fast.
Well,
too.
unfortunately, I think everyone that's ever been associated with ROH is going to be a jobber to Jericho for a while until they get this contract.
It's jobber nation for Jericho in that.
Do you think that's why they put it on Jericho? They're trying to shop it around the networks?
I think 100% that's why Jericho has it. It's taking up.
There's another rumor floating around that they put it on him because that CM Punk was the only person in the company that was ROH, both WWE champion and WWE World Champion, like the old WCW belt, and then AEW. So the rumor going around is they're buying out Punk's contract. They're done with him. He doesn't want to come back. He doesn't want to
Why
be
couldn't
there.
they put it on Bryan Danielson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he held all of them.
He did.
Because Jericho has Tony Khan's ear. He's his buddy. You see in those press conferences how he sits there kissing his ass, like being all good and being all that. He is totally his right-hand man.
Oh, yeah.
And then he loves himself where he goes, and we just wanted to come up with this cool idea. So me and John sat around and we came up, let's do Lionheart. It was so revolutionary. No, it's not. It's fucking
He
dumb.
did it 30 years ago.
Yeah.
He just thinks that we don't want to do another gimmick match. That's all you fucking do are gimmick matches.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the reason they put it on him, but he's all about it.
Yeah, because Bryan Danielson checked all those boxes.
Yeah. So now he's going to fight Bryan Danielson again. This is the 3rd time they're going to fight for the ROH championship, so he can beat him too, so he can say, "Why I beat all the great champions." He's going to roll through all of them. Is there anybody that's an ROH name that is going to be the guy that stops him?
I can't think of anybody who's out there. Michael Elgin.
Like, is it Adam Cole?
Is he in jail?
Is it Adam Cole when
It
he
could
comes
be.
back?
Could it be Hangman?
Is Hangman an ROH champion?
I don't think he was.
I don't think so either. He was TV champion.
Maybe this is build up for Adam Cole to come back as a giant face.
Maybe.
And be the one that beats him for the belt.
I mean, he gets a huge pop too. He's in
He
that,
does.
like,
Dalton Castle.
he's the triple threat.
Is KO an ROH champion?
He was.
KO ain't leaving.
Oh,
KO, that's his show. He ain't going nowhere.
So I'm pulling up a list of ROH.
Christopher Daniels.
My instant in my head, I went to Adam Cole. That he's obviously done with the Undisputed Era. He's obviously not going to do
He's an
feuding with the
NXT
Bucks.
champion too.
It would be something that he could. I mean, he wasn't a WWE champion, but he held titles.
Mm-hmm.
If he's defending ROH, he could be a guy that comes out that the crowd would pop for.
Here's some
Insane.
guys that we could possibly. So I'm going to skip over, but Samoa Joe,
Yeah.
and then Bryan
You
Danielson.
think Samoa Joe's too busy dominating Rampage?
Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal's another one.
Yeah. Roderick Strong, Eddie Edwards, Kevin Steen, Jay Briscoe, Adam Cole,
Mm-hmm.
Jay Lethal.
I think the most star power, though, is Adam Cole. If you have an ROH pay-per-view that kicks off their new show or their first show and the main event is ROH Championship, Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole, that sells.
Oh, yeah.
Because people like Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Kyle O'Reilly was also champ, I guess.
Yeah, he ain't getting over Adam Cole.
I don't see Bobby Fish's name anymore.
Yeah, Bobby Fish sucks.
See all the other Undisputed Era guys, though.
So then we had Moxley versus Juice Robinson. What'd you think of this?
I like Juice Robinson. I know that he had a horrible name when he was in NXT, but like I like Ron.
I like
Hard.
him.
Juice
I think it was
Robinson.
a decent match.
It's decent. It's a Moxley match.
Yeah.
He's bleeding, and all.
And
that
those
stuff.
guys wrestled enough. It's not stale. Like it still was like.
It was the best match on this show.
Oh yeah.
Hands
Hands
down.
down.
Hands down, it was the best.
Well,
match on the show.
the lumberjack match wasn't.
So next we had Paige, aka Saraya, come out.
Saraya.
And this was absolutely fucking terrible. I think this is a perfect scenario of someone that benefits from scripted promos.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's you're free in AEW to talk. That's perfect for MJF. It's perfect for Danielson, Punk, Moxley. These guys thrive going out feeding off the crowd. This did not.
No, she looked like she was so confident coming into it. Then when she was out there, she's like, "What do I talk about?"
Well, she didn't have much to work with either. Like bring these random girls out and talk about them, and then you only get to talk about one.
Now, the only defense I'll say in her thing is there was a lot of talent that couldn't make it last night doing the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Tony Khan, being the nice guy he is, did say, if you can't make it to work, it's okay, you're stuck.
Yeah.
So they could have had more women. You could have saw Jay Cargill out there or some of these other more. They had to bring out Sky Blue. It's,
Willow Nightingale.
Yeah, Willow
why didn't they
Nightingale.
scrap the segment? Why didn't they just let her come out and say her piece?
And done that segment another time.
Yeah, because that segment was stupid. Everybody just wanted to hear from her.
Yeah, and it was
no one
terrible.
cared about the rest of that.
And no one knew that she was going to talk. They didn't advertise it till that night.
They did.
They said Saraya speaks,
Well,
that night,
Yeah.
If you know what it felt to me, like she's the Stephanie McMahon of that division.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, for no reason, we're gonna have a lumberjack match. Why?
Yeah.
Serena Deeb and this girl and Tony Storm don't want to fight each other.
Yeah.
One of them's gonna try to escape, so you need to do a lumberjack match to keep them in a ring. It was so pointless.
Oh, I didn't get it.
And you notice she went back up and sat down. She didn't stay around there because I don't think she wants to take bumps.
No.
I don't think she's ready to
She
wrestle.
wanted to take. Look how many times Britt Baker's been put on the shelf by these
I mean,
inexperienced.
she broke her broke her nose again.
The crowd hated this segment.
Yeah.
They cheered when she came out, and they were dead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was like a morgue.
It made no sense.
It made no sense.
Just let her come out and talk.
And then she said, "I was the face over here, and I'm the face there, and I was the revolution there. I'm going to be the revolution."
Isn't
No,
Ricky
she
Starks?
said, "I was the revolution here, and I'm going to be the revolution here, and I'll be your revolution because I'm the revolution." People were playing that clip. People were playing that clip with what's his name from The Office? Going, sometimes I start a sentence and I can't remember what I'm going to do, and I just hope it ends well. Like, it was all over the place.
Oh, shit.
It was bad. It was a bad look. It was really bad. The lumberjack match. The match itself was fine. Those two girls are both pretty good wrestling.
I like Serena. Like they don't need this. Like all they need is TV time and the right girls in there. Like, and I think that the 10 girls that they showed, for the most part, are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
You could have just had Serena Deeb and her. This didn't need to be together.
no, and it doesn't need to give like, we actually have management that listens to me. Like,
How about her taking a shot at them for that?
yeah,
That's pretty fucking low.
yeah,
Considering what they've done for her and where she was, that a lot of her problems were self-induced.
yeah.
Not coming down on this girl, but you're the one that got with Del Rio and started doing all this shit and substance abuse and all that stuff. And, whatever she did sexually with people and all that,
That's
it's her own business.
Yeah.
But you still fooled around with coworkers and people that you work with, which is a big no-no for a lot of stuff. You did a lot of things that were not really a shining employee, and they still stuck by you.
Yeah.
And they supported you. They paid for all your rehab. They took care of you. They gave you on-air roles to try and find a spot for you. And the first fucking thing you do when you get on AEW TV is you shit. Now I have a boss that actually listens to me. That's a bad look, honey. That's a bad look, honey.
Well,
And no one liked that line.
no.
Even AEW people that defend those things were like, I don't know why she said that.
Yeah.
That's not true. at
Coming
all.
from a lot of other people, it's acceptable.
It's acceptable.
Yeah.
right.
But they
like an
treated her
FTR or something.
exactly.
Like that.
It's right to say it, but come on. They didn't try. They weren't there for you when you weren't really the most model employee.
They let her keep her Twitch channel when they force everybody else to shut theirs down.
Yeah. And that's just, they all feel they need to do that.
Mhm.
I'm going to take a shot at them. That's what I'm going to need to do.
Yeah.
It's like the Jericho idiots when they came out in the beginning had to do appreciate us and all that other thing. You're trying to be funny.
We'll
one likes
compare
that
the two opening segments from SmackDown and this. And we'll see.
exactly.
Yeah.
And see which one went over better with people, which group you like a lot better.
Sadly,
Even
Sadly, you're okay with that one all of a sudden, So what else we got? We had Ricky Starks match, which this annoyed me too because I like Ricky Starks a lot, and I think he's a reason to watch that show. And I think, again, I don't want to sound like a Triple H mark here, but one of the things Triple H has introduced into his programming is that matches have some meaning to them. They actually last a little longer, and people actually go. Whether you think
the crowd could care less on a WWE show about the match. It's what it bothers me.
I know, but it depends the town they're in.
Yeah.
But this is a perfect example where I don't know how this guy, if he's any good or whatever, but can we at least see Ricky wrestle?
Yeah.
Why can't he wrestle? Take 10 minutes off of Jericho's nonsense and let him fight Dolph Ziggler's brother.
Give him at least 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Eli Isom can go.
Well, yeah, either him or like a guy
He's
like
a Ring of Honor guy.
Somebody, and let him actually work so people can see this kid's pretty good.
Yeah.
Instead of he posed, he missed a spear.
Yeah.
And then hit it and then did his move and it's over. No, that's not helping that kid at all.
Yeah.
It's doing nothing for him. Instead of watching a match where you're like,
do you think he's still hurt?
I don't
That's
know.
their way of covering up with all
I
these
have
short
no
matches.
idea.
No, I think he's just not long for AEW, unfortunately.
I don't know. And it's a shame because
Cody will bring him over.
he's a likable character that I think the crowd
People like him a lot.
People like him a lot, and he's what you want to watch. Not that shit that we had to sit through. This is like where you're like, this is a good match that I'd like to see see him doing something. But I don't know. It was bad. And then we had the championship, and I've never seen Bandito wrestle before. I mean, he's okay and all.
I like Bandito. I mean, it's tough for me to get into luchadors because the character doesn't really.
He was bleeding under that white mask.
Oh, I know.
I don't know how you breathe in that fucking thing.
I don't know either. It just seemed. I thought the ending was dumb where he just covered his eyes and rolled him up, and that was enough to beat him. Like the guy got his nose broke. You probably can't see as it is.
Yeah.
Like
it's a Jericho match.
Yeah.
It has to be 20 minutes long, and it's just boring.
And that's just so he can prove something to himself.
Yeah. Look, I can still go.
Yeah.
I got a couple moves over. Whatever. And then I thought maybe when this ended with a couple minutes left that they were doing something because he came out and started shitting on ROH, and I was like, oh.
Maybe something did. They just didn't time it right.
Maybe something's coming in here or a new challenger for him. He's like, I'm going to fight Bryan Danielson again. I'm like, again, Christ, the third time in like 3 weeks. Another one. At another event, you're going to fight Bryan Danielson and probably beat him and move on to this. So, I don't know. It was fucking terrible, I thought. I thought it was one of their worst, especially coming off what we saw recently the past 2 weeks where it's been exciting. Mm-hmm. You laid this egg, and guess what? You were under $1 million again. So now you lost your million streak and you drop back under because you started the show at $1 million and higher, and you lost close to 400,000 viewers as that show went on, and you ended up with 980 or whatever. So what are you doing?
Your book ending with Jericho.
Yeah. They need to.
Oh, we forgot Hangman came out and got in Moxley's face with his fucking pink shirt on and his pink rose pants, looking like a fucking idiot.
You leave his Dolly Parton shirt alone.
Yeah, and then MJF got attacked in his owner's box, which is kind of funny. Him falling around.
That segment didn't bother me.
Yeah,
I actually didn't mind the MJF Wheeler Unit. At least they're giving him a chance to try to do something.
Yeah,
they have a history too.
He's gonna at least wrestle next week. It'll be good to see MJF. Here's another question I have for you. Where is Stokely Hathaway? He was on TV 2 weeks ago, and he made this big thing where the firm.
He's on retainer.
And he said that you never see them all together at one time.
I don't mind if we don't see them all together, but why isn't he on the show anymore?
He's going to be on Rampage with Lee Moriarty.
Okay.
And
he vanished from TV for 2 weeks. His guys come out sporadically here and there,
I think if his guys wrestle, he comes out with his guys. But if his guys are back in MJF, he doesn't come out.
Yeah. Stokes. Rampage went up a little bit with their show, 470 to 522. Their key demo went up a little bit too, 0.14 to 0.17.
I honestly think that's Kingston and
it's a great Muda.
Yeah.
It's a great Muda.
But Dynamite went down from 1.03 to 990, and its demo dropped a point too. So get it together, Tony. Figure something out.
He needs to sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper and book out a long-term storyline.
What that's always about, Ken.
He needs to figure out what he's doing with guys like Miro and these other people that you're not using. You mean to tell me in that show we couldn't have had some kind of new storyline with Miro or something?
Yeah.
Who's he mad at?
What do you cut?
A lot of it.
Sadly, like, I don't know what you cut, like, because you got to have a women's match.
You cut down Chris Jericho's time.
No,
he doesn't need a 25-minute match just to prove to people that he has.
Plus a 25-minute segment.
Plus a 25-minute segment.
Yeah, have some shows, Jericho.
Yeah, and he loves it. He's the king.
Don't call him the king. He'll trademark that.
And you could have knocked Soraya's promo. That was a long fucking. Don't cue me, promo guy.
Hold on. I understand that it was not good. But
Yeah.
if you're going to start giving added attention to your women's division, because our biggest knock has been
make it good. It's got to go long.
But you got to take a shot. You got to be like, all right, this girl's a pro.
Okay.
She's telling me that she can do it. Now I live and learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But when
Fair
you're playing,
point. I'll take you on that. Fair point.
like,
live and learn.
You get.
I don't want to see it again.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't knock that. I mean, I'll knock her for not putting in the effort to try to nail that. I really think she's just like, oh, I want to talk.
I'll give you that. That's a fair point.
But if you're investing money in her, you hope that she can carry a segment.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know there.
It's sad that Britt Baker is the best talker out of all that division. Like, with some, there's some young girls in that women in that division, but like, it's rough. Like,
they're lucky they have Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Now, there's still Sasha rumors going around. She changed her name back to Mercedes online and all this. I mean, that would be a huge signing for him. I'd much rather put your money into her than Paige, but who knows? Did they eventually get a big name? Because they're putting it in like Paige is their big name, which I understand, but Paige hasn't been relevant in a long time. And right, can she even wrestle?
Just make her, I mean, it sucks, but I really just see in the long term, she's just going to be like Tony Khan's, the hand of Tony Khan.
The female booking person.
Well, she could be like, hey, Tony told me, and this
I
is
just talked to Tony, and this match is a lumberjack match.
Yeah.
And tonight, it's a tag team match.
Yeah.
You're going one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Are we going to talk about that?
We should talk about Teddy Long. So poor Teddy Long, someone hacked his account and started unfollowing all these wrestlers.
Wasn't it only women wrestlers, though?
No, it was guys too.
Oh, okay.
Because Kevin Nash was like, I don't know what I did to Teddy. I thought Teddy likes me. And all these wrestlers were so confused. They were like, Teddy's mad at me? I don't know Teddy was mad at me. So finally someone said, I just talked to Teddy. He has no idea what's going on. But he was trending all over the place.
Here's the thing. Teddy Long just did the best business move ever. Just like, I'm going to fucking unfollow these people. I'm going to put a shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees that said Teddy Long blocked your ass or whatever he did. And he was a smart businessman.
Did you see his video when he apologized to everybody?
No.
He's in the gym at Planet Fitness, right? And he's talking, and he's just like, yeah, sorry, player, I don't know, whatever. And I got hacked by someone that didn't like me and all that. He's like, but, I love you all, and I refollowed everybody. He's like, nah, I'm going to go get on my squat machine. I got 800 on there. And he starts telling how much weight he lifts for no reason. And he's like, so anyway, I just wanted to get on here and clear this up. After talking about how much weight he lifts at Planet Fitness, wherever he lives. It was the oddest segment ever.
It was a segment. It was like
just oddest video ever. Really weird.
It would probably been the best segment on AEW.
It would have been.
Yeah,
it would have been.
But yeah, Teddy Long trending because of that.
Next week he's going to be in a segment with Jericho.
You joke. But...
Well, the pizza guy was brought back.
Yeah.
For Jericho to bring the pizza guy
the
back.
anti-vax.
And he's just pizza swapping the entire time until he gets kicked. Whatever he's doing.
He's good.
What's his nuts punched him. He is good with that pizza.
Yes. Is it a real pizza dough, though?
No, I think it's just a piece of cloth. Wet cloth.
I need to pay attention.
He's a weird looking dude.
He is.
He's a strange looking guy.
How old is that guy?
40
80.
and 20.
I don't know. It's really strange, though. Really strange.
I've never seen anyone look like Waluigi so much.
I know. Really weird. All right, so let's move over to WWE. So all their ongoing stuff, this White Rabbit stuff, keeps popping up everywhere. More hints on SmackDown, more hints on Raw.
Those fuckers got me last week because I actually turned in at 9:23
to see what was going on,
and I saw nothing. I'm like,
it was 9:23 because of the date. Yeah, they're trolling everybody.
Oh yeah.
Here's the situation where we're at now. If this isn't Bray Wyatt, this person's fucked.
You know who it is, right?
Baron Corbin.
No, it's Adam Rose's buddy. He's back.
That would be amazing.
I mean, the attention to detail and all this stuff is crazy. Like, the coordinates point to Wyndham, Alabama, or whatever. Then there's a Corbin town, and in that Corbin town, he defended the title once. And it's so much involved with him that, like I said, if it's not
It's gonna
him,
be Bo Dallas.
they're
And the Bunny
screwed,
Suit.
whoever it is. They're screwed.
Yeah.
It's the kiss of death. And this is like a thing for Baron Corbin or one of their women or whatever. Like, that person's done. Like, people are going to hate it.
Yep.
The amount of people going mental that they want this to be Bray Wyatt is insane.
All I'm going to say towards this is every WWE mark that gets pissed off because AEW brings a new guy on and they don't want to watch a promo package of this new wrestlers, they'll spend hours researching every fucking White Rabbit video.
Because people love Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear them bitch that they have to do work on their own to figure shit out.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a QR code and a 3-second screen and
it's a lot of attention to detail. What sounds like him,
it does.
if they let
It's
him
Bo
do
Dallas.
that stuff.
I really hope it's Bo Dallas.
In the bunny suit.
It would be interesting to see if it ended up being like Baron Corbin and they repackage him. But he's doing like a JBL theme. Because remember, JBL picked him up after SmackDown a couple weeks after he lost. He lost again. He walked out in the hallways down his luck again. And then JBL pulled up and was like, "Get in the car. What happened to you?" He's like, "Come with me." And they left.
Oh, okay.
You know, so there's a thing there that they're doing with him. I don't know, but it's going to be the biggest letdown ever in recent years if it's not him.
I actually would like to. I really like Brock's White Rabbit being Bo Dallas, and then be like, well, you don't want to see the Black Rabbit, and then the Black Rabbit could be.
Well, you know, then there's all these things that they're leading into that, like, he's going to have a new Wyatt family, and they're all versions of, like, his puppets in real life. It's Cross, it's Strowman, it's Loomis, it's all these different people that, you know, he's aligning with and putting on his team.
That'd be cool.
Which, that's a pretty crazy team if you have Strowman and Cross and all these other guys with it. So, I don't know. It's working.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
SmackDown ratings were insane. They were insane for that thing. But there's something interesting. We'll go through this first. Something interesting about SmackDown ratings. So this show kicked off with one of the best openings I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
It was so good. Everybody in it is so good. The Bloodline looks so fucking great coming down with all their people in it and their belts. And Solo Sikoa is great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they should have brought him up before. The way he plays his role in it, like, it's really interesting the way that, like, Jey Uso's one way, he's pissed off all the time. He's annoyed. Jimmy Uso loves everything that's going on. He's happy. And then Solo's just serious and kind of smirks every once in a while. You know, like, for a young kid, he's doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Like,
it's in his blood.
Yeah, it's in his blood. But, yeah, it was good. The Sammy bit was great. Sammy is so over. When he told him to take his shirt off and Jey Uso rips it off him. And he's like, it's because you got a new one. And then he's instantly mad. Heyman's face in the background, it was like this when they were ripping the shirt off Sammy. He's like so mad. And he's like, oh. Like, everybody's facials are great in that angle.
It's all people that can work an angle.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Roman's great in
The
it.
fourth generation of a family. Like, that's been doing
And imagine, like, let's break it down. You have a huge generation of wrestlers. Paul Heyman is probably the greatest mic work since Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yep.
And Sami Zayn, who's the greatest worker, I think, in that company right now.
Mhm.
Like,
He's great.
It's
when they pull the trigger on this and they turn on him,
it's going to be huge.
he's going to be the biggest over hero on that show
Uh-huh.
ever. And when KO comes and teams with him or whatever they do, it's going to go nuts.
Do you think they can pull the trigger and have Sammy beat Roman for the belt?
The crowd would love it,
The crowd would love it.
But I mean,
but I don't know if they'll do that.
It would have that Mick Foley over the Rock vibe.
Yes, and that's what I think that would be.
I kind of feel it's going to be him and KO defeat the Usos, since him and Jey Uso have this personal thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be Jey that eventually turns, and then Jimmy turns, and they do their thing. You know, I don't know, but it's interesting.
I like him and Solo as kind of a tag team, though.
Yeah, Solo comes out with him, and Solo's great in that. Like, he don't do anything. He acts normal, and then out of nowhere, he beats the shit out of a guy, and you don't even see it. You know, like, that's what he did on Raw.
Well, the greatest segment on SmackDown, well, beyond this, was like whenever Ricochet and Madcap Moss confronted Sammy in the back. And he starts saying, well, you mess with me, you mess with the bloodline. Like, you're nothing but... And then Solo just pops in. Like, what are you going to say?
Real angry, too.
Like, smashes his head off the
back
door.
to being normal. Like, he's really
Well,
good.
just see John Cena hit Ricochet's head off the thing one time, the garage door one time, too.
Or Ricochet. But yeah, Solo's really good. And he's to the point where, like, I don't even think he needs any of those titles. He's just the real
He's the
enforcer
enforcer.
now.
Yeah.
Which makes it better for the Usos.
Yeah.
Because the Usos
They were the fall guys.
Yeah.
Now you have this other guy who can take the losses and stuff like that.
get beat up by Lesnar or whoever's coming back to fight him or whatever. But yeah, it was good. It was well done. Liv Morgan did her best to get ready for Rousey, but she's going to get killed in this Extreme Rules.
I'm so sick of the Liv Morgan experiment.
I think Baszler and Rousey take over this division after this event. They'll give the belt back to Rousey with Shayna helping her. Or they turn Shayna good, make Shayna challenge Rousey.
That's never happened before.
Which would be good. Yeah, Baszler's never been good. Then Strowman fought Otis. And this was the highest rating moment of SmackDown.
It was a good match, too, for two big guys.
So SmackDown started off, SmackDown's ratings were 2.54 billion.
Wow.
And the show opened with 2.6 for Roman and went all the way up to 2.8 for Strowman. At the top of the 9 o'clock hour, it was the highest. It dropped back down to 2.4 for the Uso main event.
Well, what time was that?
9 o'clock.
But how long was the match? Did it hit was it 9:23?
I think Karrion Kross was in the ring.
Karrion Kross was in the ring at 9:23.
That's right, because I got
choking out Drew.
Well, that could be part of it too.
But like Strowman's singing that, like people tuned in for it.
Well, I'm going back to the White Rabbit.
White Rabbit, I'm sure had stuff to do with the ratings too.
Well, like the Karrion Kross was out there. He's
Yeah.
going to be part of that group.
Yeah, because now the whole code is for 9:30, which is tonight's show. So
the word is that they're going to do the reveal. Maybe not actually see the person, but it's going to be like.
Well, this show tonight also is going to be heavily changed too because of the hurricane. Because there's a lot of talent.
Where's it at?
It's in Canada. So there's a lot of people that can't fly out to it.
Most of these guys live in Florida.
Yeah. So what I heard was that like NXT guys might be coming.
Yes.
A lot of Raw guys might come over, and they have to. It's like all hands on deck, you know. So I'm sure Edge will probably show up.
If you can get here.
If you can get here, come fight, whatever. And then you had the tag match at the end of the show, which I thought also was really good too. I like the Brawling Brutes.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're good guys now. I guess
they're good guys now. No, Bush is a good guy. Butch.
He's not going to be Butch very long.
No, he'll go back to what he is. But he's over too. People love him.
Mm-hmm. Pete Dunne's a good wrestler.
He is a good wrestler. So that was SmackDown. Like I said, their ratings were phenomenal. 2.5. They have no competition on Friday. No. There's no games. There's no stuff. There's no nothing.
Is this their peak time to like thrive?
They kill it. On Raw, then we had Bianca and Io opened up. This is a perfect example of what you can't please a wrestling fan. This match. The week before, when you had a lot of distraction finishes and endings and stuff, that's all they do. No one can win clean. Bianca wins clean. You buried Io.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what do you want to do?
Bianca's the champ.
She's a champ. Like she beat her. Well, you just ruined Io. Like
she's a tag champ. She'll be fine.
So would you have wanted her to cheat? Because then you don't like when they cheat. So they did a clean win, and you're mad. You know, like they can't. You can't help. You can't ever help it.
No.
This show was a lot better than last week's show. I thought every match was really solid. Again,
last week was kind of a mess.
Last week was a again, you know, there's still talks about what they're going to do with the world title, but like Rollins and Mysterio was good. I thought Gargano and Owens was really good too. I like those two together too. They're pretty entertaining.
Candice LeRae
came back. Like her husband just showed up. I like the Balor AJ stuff that they're doing. I think Balor's really good in that role. Like he beats AJ up, and then he's like, "I'm your friend, AJ. Join us." You know,
yeah.
And like they were gonna break his neck in that chair, and he's like, "No." You know, he keeps trying to hug him and stuff. I think he's coming out of his shell a little bit and being allowed to talk more.
We saw this before in New Japan. He has the charisma. It's just that
and heel Balor's great whenever he's like
he's an asshole.
Yeah.
It's gonna probably be him and Edge at that pay-per-view, which will be good. Sammy's segment was great with AJ and the way Solo that we talked about that. So it was good. I think that Riddle and Seth and that fight kit thing that they're going to do will be good at Extreme Rules too.
Yeah.
So
Who won the first one between him and Timothy Thatcher?
He won, and then he left NXT after he won that. And then Edge came back. Everyone loves Edge, and he's doing his thing. You know, Edge's retirement tour. He's going to wrestle. He's wrestling everybody that he said he wanted to wrestle. Basically, he's getting something for him. So
good for him. He's earned it.
Yeah. Raw went up from 1.59 to 1.67. It still has a hard time with Monday Night Football, which takes a lot of its ratings.
Yeah.
So that was that. I I thought the only thing I really got from NXT, I watched a little bit of it. I was busy. Is Braun Breaker did the Steiner math angle?
I saw that.
Funny. In which the crowd, as soon as they knew where he was going, started getting into it. You know,
Yeah.
there's 3 of us, and you have a 33 and a 30%, and all that Steiner math. You know, Dragunov, whatever, wrestled. He's good. I like him. I think that'll be good.
What is this obsession with this JD McDonough
I don't
guy?
know. He's the weirdest looking person, isn't he? His head's huge, but he's short. And he's got a weird body to him.
He's like if somebody crushed Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Like put him in a trash can crusher and just push it like a third of the way down.
And he's like kind of taller, deceptively taller than he looks sometimes. Like
I don't know who this guy is.
he was, what's his name? He won the cruiserweight title at
Jordan Devlin.
He was Jordan Devlin. And he had the title, and then the pandemic hit, and he couldn't come
defend
over.
it. And then they brought him over and had the cruiserweight Santos Escobar beat him.
Yeah, that's true. Santos hasn't appeared anywhere. He's been in Mexico doing some stuff.
Yeah, last we saw him, he picked up his guys and they
Yeah,
left.
they'll debut somewhere after the draft, probably.
When's the draft going to be?
After Survivor Series.
They moved it back because it was going to be in October.
Yeah, they moved it back to after Survivor Series in November. That way you do survive. I think they did that because it's kind of weird when you do like groups fighting each other and they
split them all.
they just got
They did that
Raw.
last year.
Yeah, you just got the Raw. Now you're fighting for Raw. You know all that. So
I like that they're going to have a War Games match.
Two
of them.
A women's and a men's.
Yeah. The only other thing I had from NXT is I think Mandy Rose really deserves credit for how much better she is now in the ring. She's really had quite the run down there as champion.
Yes.
You know, she really has improved from someone that really was. She wrestles very like hard and strong style. You know, beats people up. She looks phenomenal. She's done a really great job. She got engaged too.
Yeah.
To that Tito Savinelli guy from NXT.
Tino Sabatelli.
Tino
They fired
Sabatelli.
him.
Yeah, he'll be back. Probably.
When they get married, maybe.
I didn't watch the main event of this thing. They had like some kind of big ladder match with Gallus.
They spoofed the EVP thing though.
They did, yeah.
The what?
There was a fight after. They've been real. NXT has been sandbagging AEW a lot with little shots at stuff. Yeah. You know,
Gallus has been suspended indefinitely for starting a fight after the show.
That Andre Chase guy did like a thing where he was giving what's the word I'm looking for? One of those interviews what's that called? Those.
Oh, like a scrum.
A scrum thing, media scrum like that. And he kept yelling at somebody named Dave. He's like, I didn't say that, Dave. Quit putting words in my mouth, Dave. And he was like yelling at it, Dave, so which is obviously Meltzer. And then, they had this big fight. And afterwards, they're like, Gallus is beating people up, fighting backstage. They're suspended indefinitely. You know, they're NXT and Shawn Michaels are trolling them hard with all that. So next week, we might get the new set and all that to see what that looks like.
Yeah, it's about time.
And they went and signed an independent guy. What's his last name?
I didn't see that.
Is it Fredericks? Is it your last name?
Well, my last name is Evans.
No, what is that?
Oh, Joe Hendricks.
Joe Hendricks, or whatever.
Joe, the guy that sings his own theme song from England. Hendry.
Okay.
Joe Hendry.
They signed somebody, but it was a big deal because they're like, this is the first indie talent they've signed for a while here.
Yeah.
You know?
He used to be on ROH.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an ROH guy.
Yeah, Joe Hendry. He used to sing. He would, depending on who he was wrestling or having a feud with over at Progress, he'd do it like an intro.
Mm-hmm.
He'd sing his own. He did like the Pokemon theme, and he's done a bunch of stuff. He's a very talented guy.
That's cool.
During COVID, he would sing like wrestling, like he was like plays guitar and stuff. But in the last 5 years, he's got jacked. He's a big dude.
Yeah, so they're signing people. They're back to that again. So we'll see. And we talked about this last week. NXT needs to get back to that. I understand you want to try and make new stars and all that, but you got to give fans something to get excited about, like they used to do when you would see, Adam Cole's in the crowd, and then he runs in, he's in a match. People love that about NXT. You know, oh, look who's here now. You got to get. I don't know if there's a ton of indie talent walking around to sign, but as they get popular, you should probably start doing that format again. New guys with indie guys.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, those new guys are not entertaining at all.
A couple are not bad of guys that they're trying to develop. Like Breaker's a good, because he's a generational guy. Yeah. But,
Can he just be Rex Steiner now?
Yeah.
Vince is
Well,
gone?
hopefully, there's 2 Brawns on the main roster.
Yeah,
If he
can't have
comes
2
up, he
Brawns.
can have 2 Brawns. The thing with Braun Steiner or Rex Steiner or Braun Breaker, he's not that big compared to some of the other bigger guys on the main roster.
He's big on NXT, but
Yeah.
And he's stocky, but height-wise, like he's nowhere near as tall as McIntyre and Roman and Cross and these guys. He's a lot smaller.
But you can still, you're getting the persona of him down in NXT. You can have him come up and be like a Taz-like character where he's small and he's just gonna
strong.
Yeah,
so you
strong.
can still pick people up
Yeah.
and all that. Because the Steiner brothers were never tall.
No, but they were a lot more jacked.
They were a lot
than he was.
stockier. They had a lot of steroids back
Yeah,
then.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It was the 80s. Everyone was doing blows.
It was a little different.
Yeah.
Everybody looked like that in the 80s.
Yeah. NXT went from 688 to 666.
Ooh,
That's
a clue.
And this is another second tape show in a row. So,
Hopefully they're done.
well, yeah, I think they took their time off to set up the new.
Then they probably had to evacuate.
Oh yeah, they had to evacuate. So who knows if it's next week or not? It might not
that
be.
building might not even be there.
Where are they at in
Full Sail University.
Orlando.
No, the Performance Center is different. Or are they still in there? Or are they in a different building? Because didn't they dub it something else, or was still?
It's the Performance Center.
It's still the Performance
Yeah.
Center,
Oh,
and that's in Orlando.
Mhm.
Did Orlando get hit hard by this?
I don't think so.
A lot of rain, but
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That's wrestling for the week. We'll see what happens next week. Kenneth, think so.
All right, everyone, please like, share, subscribe, invite, tell your friends. Have
Smile
a great evening. Creepy smile, Brock.
later. And we're still alive, so you can keep smiling.
Keep smiling,
I
Brock.
want to export this shit.
Don't stop the live stream. Make sure you do all these tertiary
Events.
Yeah.
Tua just got injured.
Oh, good. I'm glad I don't have them.
Pop that on the TV there in a minute.
I pop it on the TV.
Bengals are winning.
Of course they are.
Travis.
All right, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.